There's so much information available on the internet that sometimes it can be hard for people to interpret everything that they get. I'm a firm believer in spending all the time that's necessary in order for patients and their families to fully understand what's going on to make a good decision.
Hi, Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times on Thursday, October 19th. Well, today was the day that cities were supposed to submit submissions to Amazon to be applicants to be considered for its new second headquarters, a giant project that would be a real feather in the cap of whatever city lands it. You may remember that Mayor Mark Stodola said several weeks ago that Little Rock was going to compete for this project, even though we didn't meet most of the criteria set out by Amazon. Well, they announced a news conference this morning at which our Amazon application was going to be revealed. It was a bait and switch. Little Rock smartly is not going to apply for an Amazon headquarters after all. It wouldn't be considered. It doesn't have what's necessary to be considered. Instead, they tried to make some lemonade out of the lemon, said that we're going to have a Love Little Rock public relations campaign that's going to talk about what a great place Little Rock is for business to locate. Actually, the city and the Chamber of Commerce announced its decision to the residents of Washington, D.C. before it announced it to the people of Little Rock. They bought a full-page ad, cost up to $80,000 in the Washington Post. Jeff Bezos' newspaper, he's the guy that owns Amazon, saying, well, we don't need Amazon. We don't want you messing up our nice little town. It was kind of written tongue-in-cheek, kind of struck me as a funny tone. The big question lingering here is one, why did Mark Stodola even talk about this in the first place, except that next year is an election year? We'll get a little publicity from our sort of funny little response, but it'll be a 1 or 2 day story. We do need to look at making things better. There's going to be a social media war room, the mayor says, promoting Little Rock. That's not a bad thing. We've tried PR campaigns in the past. Perhaps we ought to look at our schools and our infrastructure and our transit and all the other things that contribute into the kind of places that the Amazons of the world want to live. The Arkansas Supreme Court issued opinions today. One of them was an opinion affirming what the U.S. Supreme Court told it to do, which is that it's unconstitutional for the Arkansas law to treat same-sex married couples differently from opposite-sex marriage couples when it comes to birth certificates. Before, parentage was presumed for opposite-sex couples, but not for same-sex couples. That's no more, thanks to the U.S. Supreme Court. The state Supreme Court ratified that today, although there's still some disagreement on the Supreme Court. It was a 4-3 decision on how far the Arkansas Supreme Court should go in writing these things into the law. The Supreme Court still seems to want the legislature to specify these things in the law. Counting on the legislature is a dangerous thing. Remember George W. Bush? He was president one time. He left office without the highest ratings. Perhaps we ought to reconsider. He gave a remarkable speech today. He talked about the growth of bigotry and white supremacy in the United States. He talked about people who like conspiracy theories and who like to fabricate news stories. Gee, I wonder who he might have been talking about. And speaking of race relations, two fairly remarkable state senators, Jim Hendren and Joyce Elliott, talked to the Political Animals Club yesterday about the need to have more discussions about race relations in Arkansas. You might remember the legislature didn't want to fund or set up any kind of formal structure to consider this issue. It's a little uncomfortable for people. Hendren and Elliott, who come from very different political points of view, nonetheless have had some long and serious thoughts about race relations and think that people need to think more about how we ought to get along with everybody regardless of how they look like, and how we're not really doing it right now either. Well, that's for another day to do something official about it. The University of Arkansas at Fayetteville not having a great year on the football field this year, but I learned today from the school that their athletic department is upping the amount of money it's giving to general operations of the university. The $100 million athletic department used to give about $2 million a year for general purposes. I'm told this year it's going to give $4.2 million. Now, $1 million of that is going to help tutors and some people who actually work in the athletic department, but still it's kind of academic, not strictly for jock straps and footballs and what have you. So that's a step forward. This is a product of Chancellor Joseph Steinmetz's push for more athletic contributions of the general university. Good column in the Arkansas Times this week by Jay Barth, the Hendricks political science professor. There's been a lot of talk about Senator Tom Cotton eventually getting picked by Donald Trump to be a CIA director. Wouldn't that be great to have an opening in the U.S. Senate? Well, maybe not. Barth talks about some of the people who'd be potentially candidates for that seat in the special election in 2018 were it to come to pass. They'd be just about every Republican officer holder we currently have. maybe even Mike Huckabee moving back from Florida. One interesting idea is whether David Carter, a Republican House Speaker of years past, might run as an independent for U.S. Senate. He's a middle-of-the-roader, certainly by Republican standards, and could be expected to have some Democratic Party support. Well, that's just hot stove league stuff, but worth thinking about. Good news from the Little Rock Police Department yesterday. It took more than 3 months, but they finally filed a charge against somebody who actually shot a gun that hurt someone, or they think they have filed such a charge, in the 25-person wounding July 1st at a downtown club at which a rapper was performing. This is the second arrest, but the first one is someone where the forensics have been able, they think, to match up shots he fired that actually hurt some of the people who were shot there. And he's believed to be the person that triggered the shooting by firing first. They've already charged a bodyguard for the rapper who fired back, but I assume he will say in self-defense. And finally this, tonight at Philander Smith College, which has a lecture series every year, Bless the Mic, sometimes controversial speakers, going to feature April Ryan, an urban radio White House correspondent who's had some brushes with Donald Trump, and I thought came out the better for it. She's a tough cookie, and she's speaking tonight at Philander Smith College. It's free, open to the public. Go see April Ryan, and whatever you do, resist. I'm Max Brantley. I'll be back tomorrow.